Tony, congrats on win number 300 here. What are your thoughts on joining Coach Holland in that group?
Well, I didn't even know until John said, this is, if you get this, you're 300. I was like, hey, wait, I think I won 300. Because I remember we played Marshall. He said, no, here. I'm like, man, I've been here a long time. That means that. And it always goes to the players you had and the staff that you had. I read this book, I mentioned it, and the guy's answer when everyone said, how you doing? And the guy's response was always, better than I deserve. And that's the chance to have been here as long as I have, and the things that have happened, have transpired here are better than I deserve. I know that, and I'm grateful for just being here and getting to coach. And, again, too much of that is made of that stuff. But, yeah, I guess it's my 13th year, and I didn't even know I joined Coach Holland. Coach Holland's a legend, and I love that man and what he's done for this institution. And to have, I don't even know how many he's won and all that stuff. I'm sure it's a ton, but to be in that, again, it means that it's on the shoulders of others. So enough of that. Let's go into the game here.
Yeah, what about your thoughts on tonight's game, particularly the second half?
Yeah, well, let's start with the first half. I think, we had so many opportunities. We started out sluggish with some, nonchalant turnovers. We missed so many close layups. We just did, and what I challenged him, I said, your defense was pretty good in the first half. I said, it's got to hold you in there. I said, now, hopefully we'll make some of those layups, keep attacking, find that right balance of being assertive, but don't let up if you want to be as good as you can. Don't let up defensively. And I thought the ball pressure, what Kihei really did set the tone, and then Reese followed up with getting our hands on some balls and turning turnovers, 19 points off turnovers into offense, expanded the lead, made a couple shots, had some finishes, and then the two, the post. It was so good to see Poppy and Caden, throw it inside. We had a size advantage and make some plays over the top, and then, just get some things going. Reese got going in the second half, and I was so happy to get Chris in there at the end, Chris McGarren, who's been a manager for us and been unbelievable. And then, of course, Jaden Nixon and Chase Coleman, what they've meant to our team. So when you can get them a minute or two, I'd love to get them more, but that was great. And the play of the game was Chris in the lane, and I said he could have shot it. He made the perfect pass, and then Igor airballed it. So I said he ruined his assist.
Yeah, how important was it to get those first 6 points out of the locker room into that second half? How important was that?
Yeah, I watched Lehigh. First of all, they're well coached. I really like their coach. He's been there a long time, and Brett, he's just a good man and a good coach. And I watched him play Rutgers to overtime to start the year, and they run good spacing, and then they had some bumps in the road, and then they played really well against Columbia their last game, and you could just feel like teams can hang around now. There's so many guys get confidence. They start making shots. They obviously got cold, and I think our defense sort of shut them down. And again, to have a little separation because we weren't hitting on all cylinders offensively, and that's probably going to be that way this year. We're a little up and down that way, so that's why the defensive part was there. But I think getting out to a good start was very important. It was a different start than the start of the game for sure.
That's 6 straight games for Caden Frederick to have at least three blocks in the game. How happy are you with his progress, and what kind of stands out for how much he's kind of improved?
Well, yeah, no, I think he's so long, and he's starting to get a feel for timing even better and reading things. And so, no, I think rim protection, you can't undervalue or underestimate that, especially in our defense, because we try to do the job on the ball positionally. And then if there is a breakdown and then you can do that, that can be really a strong statement. That can bother an offensive team if you're right when they don't get many opportunities and then all of a sudden they do break you down, but someone erases it, and that can wear on a team's psyche. And, he's showing that he's got some of those instincts to be already is a really good shot blocker.
Did Reese's ability to get his hand on balls and deflect and come up with, did that jump out at you when you first saw him in high school? Has he always had that?
Yeah, some guys just have an innate ability. It's their anticipation. They can even steal a ball off of a pass from their own guy. Boom, they can get it, or They see things. He has that gift, because that is a gift. You can't teach that. Guys can be ultra quick and all that, but there's an anticipation on how to dart, and and he's long, and all that stuff, but no, definitely I saw it a little bit, but I didn't know it was as good as what it had shown, and he showed it last year at times, and it's in practice, and you just kind of, when you get those, you really try to I mean, he's learning to use that, like Caden is learning to use his shot blocking. Reese has that ability to just read situations, and I guess anticipation is the best way to describe it, and it's at a high level.
Tony, wow. Revisiting the 300 wins, do the wins,
Oh, we handled that.
do the wins or the losses stick in your mind more?
I mean, I don't even remember, of course, not all the wins. I told our guys I'm hoping I'm becoming the coach I always wanted to be, where losses don't crush you and destroy you, and wins don't consume you. And I just challenge our guys, especially with this team. It's a challenge for me to coach them in the right way and celebrate when they're given an all-out effort, when their attitude is at their best, no matter their role, because that's hard when you're playing, and their effort is at a high level. And if they do that, and I can celebrate that, that's the culture I want. Because when they do that, and if we don't have a good result, that's not good enough, all you're doing is shaming them, and that doesn't work. And I've been trying to think about what it means for this program and for me as a coach, because I fail often, to coach them and have them play with great joy and great freedom and a competitive spirit that's undeniable, and not be so consumed or by outcome, because there are some of the ups and downs, and that's the coach I want to keep trying to become, and not letting it all off on the focus and the intensity, but understanding that. So to answer the question, what do I remember more? You probably, the older you get, losses, they kind of eat at you and stay with you. So it's probably, you feel some of those more. But I do have some pretty good memories of wins here. So I probably, the older I get, when I'm done coaching, I'll be like, hey, I didn't lose any games. We won them all, and I'll just remember all the wins, I hope. But,
Brad and then Preston.
Tony, with Reese, I think that's the first time he's had double figures scoring this year. How nice was it to see him sort of fall in that groove? And is this kind of the place that you wanted him to be from the start of the year? What's he been going through on the scoring front to get into double figures like that?
Yeah, and I didn't. The first half, I thought he had a couple uncharacteristic turnovers, missed quite a bit of easy ones. And the other day, I thought this was one of the best quotes or things I heard. Maybe before we went to Newark for the tournament, my father was here, and I said, you watched our practice, what would you say to these guys? And he gave us 3 specific things, but one of them I thought was great. He said, fellas, as players, in the game especially, at times you're going to have to outlast, and I thought he was going to say outlast your opponent, and he said, you're going to have to outlast your doubt. And sometimes that for a player, and you sometimes doubt yourself. You're missing a shot, or someone's begging you to shoot, you miss layups, turnover, and that's the idea of trying to play to me with freedom. Like you keep playing and outlast it. And I think that was I thought Reese did that in the Georgia game. Jabri was guarding him and said, oh, he's not going to shoot you. What they're laying way off, and that's hard to play. And even today, missing some layups, that stuff can rattle around. You got to outlast your doubt. I think that's such a good comment. So Reese, I thought, we're going to need him to attack, make his plays. He'll keep getting better at finishing. His shot is slowly improving. I think, we need as much as we can get from everybody to contribute on the offensive end for sure.
Tony, you mentioned McGarren before.
Yep.
You mentioned McGarren before. What about him, Kersey, Palumbo, because you've had some other guys do this before, stands out about them that allows them to have this opportunity?
Most selfless guys I've seen. All of our managers are, and a lot of our walk-ons, but he gives and gives. He's always showing up, serving the guys, whether it's rebound, and he's just he's a unique young man, and all those guys you mentioned are. And this year he's come to walk-on tryouts every year, and he prepares hard. He wears his Breathe Right strip in practice so he can be ready to go. I'll challenge him sometimes. We do rebounding drills, and if we want the manager or whoever to miss so we can work on our rebounding, and if he'll make 2 or 3 in a row, he gets real frustrated, sometimes I'll walk out after practice and he's in the practice gym working on missing his shots so he can rebound. You know, the rebounding drill is better. That embodies him, and the guys love him, and he just works, and he's all about this experience and helping us. So he embodies the pillar of servanthood. Of, you know, we say the way to greatness is through serving others. He's one of the best, as those other guys are, many of the players that I remember. So appreciate him, and again, to put him out there was awesome. And I don't think he was wearing his breathe right either. So.
How would you evaluate the progression of the three-point defense to this point, and especially as you look at Iowa coming to town on Monday?
Yeah, no, I'll start studying now. I know they're a very gifted offensive team, and they're really good. All you can do is try to make those shots as contested as possible, and it gets to the anticipation factor of trying to get to shooters quick and playing it that way. So I don't even know what I kind of use. I mean, I use stats, but are they? Because sometimes people make them, but they're contested shots. Early in the Houston game, Sasser made 2 or 3 shots. I mean, we're up there, and all you can do is take your hat off. So that will be the challenge against teams that can spread and shoot. Can we get to shooters quick, keep the ball in front? But you got to hopefully the percentages went out, and you just outlast them that way with contested shots. And we'll see. Our numbers good this year so far. I haven't looked at them. Our 3-point percentage defense. They're getting better. Yeah, not the first game. Navy lit us up. I can't remember what he's, huh? Yeah, so. Yeah, you're going to just get tested in that, and that's an important part. So, but I think some of it has to do with the team you're playing and what kind of shooting they have. But I thought we were solid, and it all fits together. When you can wear people down offensively in the last tournament in this game.